What's up you guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I am doing the BookTube Real Talk tag. This was a tag originally created by Books with Alyssa J, and I've been seeing it all over on YouTube. Everybody's been doing it, and I kind of wanted to join the bandwagon because, as ironic as it is, everybody puts their 2 cents in on things like BookTube and BookTwitter, and it gets a little annoying sometimes. And yet I'm gonna put my own 2 cents in about some things because irony. So the first question is, what is something nobody told you about BookTube before you started your channel? I feel like one of the things that people never told me when it came to BookTube was the fact that it could be just like any other community that is on YouTube or Twitter specifically. And I'm going to be talking a lot about Twitter because a lot of the stuff that happens drama-wise is always on Twitter. Every community I have come across that's been a part of YouTube and has a Twitter following as well, like the beauty community and the gaming community, there is always some kind of drama surrounding something. And something I didn't know until becoming a part of BookTube is the BookTube community is no different than that. If anything, the BookTube community can be incredibly vicious and incredibly cutthroat about certain things. And a lot of that has come up recently, especially in the last half of 2019, because of things like cancel culture. And I had a whole video a couple months ago where I talked about cancel culture and the problems that I find with it. And it still rings true because this stuff is still happening. I wish I would have known before joining BookTube is that there is this entire side of BookTube that is filled with drama, and that way I would have been able to know to try to avoid it as much as possible because it is nothing but a lot of negativity. And with things especially like cancel culture, a lot of the things that are going on, I don't have, firsthand experience with, so I'm going to be getting a lot of secondhand information about things, and people are going to be making opinions based off of things that they don't really have any information about, nor do they have any firsthand experience about, and yet they're going to force an opinion on people to get them to understand, something about one side of a situation, but then it encourages other people to do the same thing with no basis. And that's kind of my whole point with the cancel culture video is that, a lot of people are not able to make their own opinions about things because there's not a lot of information available, nor are a lot of people able to experience things for themselves and make an opinion on their own. And so it's a very toxic cycle that happens. And I wish that I would have known about that going into BookTube because I think then I would have may have been able to try to avoid that at some point. Question 2 is, what is your opinion on typical BookTube videos like wrap-ups, TBRs, hauls, etc.? So I love wrap-ups and TBRs. I find them incredibly helpful because a lot of times the wrap-ups include, people's thoughts on the books that they read over the course of the month, and they're kind of like mini reviews. And the TBRs are really awesome because for things like readathons that are going on, they're a great way for me to know, what are some ideas I can have for my own TBRs for those same readathons or same challenges or things like that. I find those incredibly fun. The hauls, though, I typically try to avoid because a lot of it comes honestly from jealousy. The reason I say that is because, being in a position where I am now, where I can't afford to buy books all of the time, despite how often I actually buy them, people buying like new releases and stuff, that I can't get right away, it makes me feel a little jealous a lot of times. So I tend to avoid doing hauls or watching hauls because I don't want to feel that negative feeling of jealousy and almost like entitlement in a way. And I feel like almost like, I deserve to have that book. I need to get that book kind of thing. And it's a really weird mindset to have over a freaking video, but I know how bad that mindset is, so I avoid those videos because of it. And I don't make those videos myself, honestly, because I also feel like it's bragging about how much money I have and how much I spend on books, and that also to me is not okay. I don't like doing that, so it's a really weird scenario that I have with hauls, and that's why I tend to just completely avoid them at all costs. Question 3 is, what is an assumption you had about BookTube before you joined? Was it proven to be correct or not? So an assumption that I had about BookTube was that it was going to be very open arms, very easy to move into, very easy to get involved with. And it was. It was that way in the beginning. And now, though, I've realized that it's a lot harder because of the fact that there's so much drama that goes on a daily basis. But I will say that there are perks to, the BookTube community, because things like the readathons that happen create these big communities of people that make it easy for you to join and make friends. The people that I did the House Cupathon with in April were all people I had met during the BookTube games that I did in February. And we used March as kind of a way to start building ideas on the House Cupathon that we were doing in April. And we are in pretty constant contact with all of each other still. We're working on, getting ready for the next round and stuff like that. But we're also like really good friends now because of that openness that came from just the general idea of BookTube. I feel like though a lot of the drama that happens can sometimes ruin that, because a lot of people like to pick sides in the BookTube drama, and it makes things a lot harder to deal with. Question 4 is, what is something you've done that has actually helped you grow your audience? So I think one of the biggest ways that I grew my audience was doing things like the Biannual Bibliothon challenges, because if you guys don't know the Biannual Bibliothon, it is a 2-week readathon that happens twice a year. And each round they do video challenges, Instagram challenges, and reading challenges. The video challenges are, I think, my favorite part of it, and I started doing the challenges when I was doing the Winter 2018 Biannual Bibliothon, and I think I posted like 6 out of the 7 challenges for that round, and I remember that actually had gotten a lot of buzz for me specifically. A lot of people came to watch my videos because the way that you submitted your challenge videos was taking the link to your video, going to the Biannual Bibliothon channel, and posting it in the comments of the challenge video that was posted by one of the hosts. And so people that way were able to go and look at your videos and tell you that they were great or whatever. And that's actually how I met some people that I now watch on BookTube, and that's kind of how a lot of my audience grew. I actually won a challenge in the last round in the 2019 Biannual Bibliothon. One of my videos actually won a challenge, which was really awesome, and a lot of people loved it, and some people came and subscribed to me because of that. Question 5 is, what is a common mistake you see new booktubers making, or one that you made? I think a common mistake is just feeling like you have to make yourself into a caricature of yourself. I feel like a lot of newer booktubers honestly try too hard, and granted, I did the same thing when I first started. The thing is when you're doing a channel, any channel, you always try to make yourself into somebody you're not, because you want to try to bring in an audience that is going to love your personality, that's very bubbly and energetic. And that's fine. But at some point, you kind of have to give up the ghost and just be yourself, because a lot of times people are more receptive to that. I found that a lot more people were more receptive to my videos I have now than they were receptive to the ones I did when I first started my channel, because when I first started my channel, I was all about, being super energetic and bubbly and loud, because that was what I saw a lot of people doing on BookTube, or I thought that's what they were doing on BookTube. Like, I watched so many Jacksepticeye videos over the course of the beginning of my BookTube channel that I started to become super loud, because that's how his personality is. But I realized maybe about a few months into making my channel that, or like a year probably, that I don't have to do that. I can just be myself still. And not that I wasn't myself before, but I felt like I was just trying too hard for the first year of my channel. I was trying too hard to be funny, and I was trying too hard to like be professional and all this stuff, when in reality, that's not me. I mean, I'm very goofy and all that, but in reality, I just like talking about books in general, so if that is enough to get some people to like me, that's fine, but I don't need to put on any kind of act or facade to make people like me, because they're gonna like me or not like me either way, so it's really up to them to how they want to perceive me. Question 6 is, what are your thoughts on working with publishers and sponsorships? Honestly, if you've got people that are sending you free books and people that are wanting to pay you money to at least just talk about a book, not even say if you like it or not, you do you. As long as you're not hurting anybody, who the hell cares? Honestly, I don't understand why people get so bad of shape about people taking sponsorships for things that they're not even really giving an opinion on. They're just being paid to say something, to advertise it, not give an opinion as to whether or not they like it. And a lot of times, especially in the BookTube community, the publishers are like, hey, here's a tag we created for this book for its new release. Do this tag. Or, hey, here's the book that's coming out. Just talk about the synopsis of it and, talk about when it's coming out. That's it. any booktuber that you watch, that is all they do. They either talk about the synopsis or they talk about the synopsis and then they do a tag for the video. There is no reason to get so bent out of shape about people doing sponsorships like that or, you know, getting free books, because a lot of times they've worked hard for that stuff. They have worked hard to get where they are, and that is kind of now their payment. That's kind of how this shit works on YouTube. You get big enough, you work hard enough, you start getting money for the shit that you put out. And I don't see how people can think that booktubers who do those things are dishonest, because they're not even expressing any opinion about those products. They're just not. I don't understand why people get so upset about it, and yet I'm getting upset about it, but shut up. Question 7 is, do you think BookTube is dying? Absolutely not. I highly doubt it is going to die for a long time. BookTube has honestly, if anything, grown. It has thrived over the last couple of years, I would say, because of things, unfortunately, that come with the drama, but in all honesty, also people are becoming more comfortable with joining BookTube because people are realizing how big of a community it is and how inviting it can be. But I would say that the social decorum in some ways is dying when it comes to BookTube, because obviously the drama that ensues with this big community, it's inevitable, don't get me wrong, but it can get a little much sometimes. But anyway, those are my thoughts for the BookTube Real Talk tag. Pretty much it's very similar to how a lot of other booktubers, I think, when they do this tag, have talked about these things. I think for the most part, people have the same opinions on things. It's just that people go about talking in things the wrong way, or people get way too offended way too easily about some things, and it's almost impossible on things like Twitter to truly get a point across in such a small amount of space that is within a post, and then people can misconstrue that. I feel like if people were able to just talk face to face about certain things privately, then so many things would be restored, but that's not the way that social media works, nor is it ever going to be like that. So we are always going to end up having so much drama on things like BookTube and BookTwitter, and honestly, the drama that's gone on is one of the reasons why I moved away from social media. I stopped really going on social media for about 2 weeks ago, and honestly, I've had a lot better state of mind because of it, because I'm not as sucked in to all the drama that is going on within the community, and that's really awesome. But at the same time, I'm kind of always like curious about what everyone is talking about. But I don't know, I'm kind of at a point where I will go and check Instagram every now and then because that's the least dramatic of my social medias. But Twitter is one specifically that I'm like, this is one I have to stay away from if I want to keep my sanity. But anyway, if you guys have any opinions of your own that you would like to civilly discuss down in the comments below in accordance to what I have talked about, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, you can leave your answers there. Or if you would like to do this tag yourselves, please feel free to be tagged, and I will leave all the questions down in the description for you guys, as well as the original video for this tag. And as always, if you guys did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock, and I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!